Welcome back, treasure seekers, to Morning Coffee Break, where we caffeinate and contemplate. Today we're going to step inside the most curious shop of all, Gracie's Antiques, and explore the story known as Grail, which begins on page 38 of Beyond the Map's Edge. And I mean, who doesn't love a good Grail hunt? This chapter has lit up YouTube discussions and Discord theories for months, and today we're adding our own polish to the brass. The chapter opens with this vivid line. Mrs. Henderson stood up at the town hall meeting, her pearls catching the fluorescent light like tiny moons. Immediately, I'm reminded of the PTA meeting in Dad's house, the one with the toupee comment, coincidence or pattern? Two formal meetings, two public reckonings, and Justin is handing us pearls, literal and metaphorical. The phrase, fluorescent light like tiny moons, could be hinting at guidance, cycles, maybe even phases. Moons reflect. Moons illuminate. So, what are we being guided toward? Fluorescent chambers inside South Dakota's wind cave have given scientists a pathway into theorizing how life could exist on one of Jupiter's moons. In a cool NASA-funded experiment, scientists shined an ultraviolet UV light around the rocks inside wind cave and found that chemicals fossilized within the rocks shine in brilliant hues of pink, blue, and green. The goal is using the fluorescent features to understand how the caves formed and how life is supported in extreme environments. But the data may also reveal how life could persist underground on worlds such as on Jupiter's icy moon Europa. But then, when we turned on the black lights, what used to be just a plain brown wall turned into a bright layer of fluorescent mineral that indicated where a pool of water used to be 10,000 or 20,000 years ago. The team collected the fluorescence spectra, which they say is like a fingerprint of the chemical makeup, from different surfaces using a portable spectrometer. That meant they could take the information with them while leaving the cave intact. So are you walking around with your black light? I think you might need it to solve Therese treasure inside and beyond the map's edge. Fluorescent light is a type of artificial lighting that works by exciting mercury vapor inside a glass tube, which emits ultraviolet light. That UV light then causes a phosphor coating on the inside of the tube to glow, producing the visible light we see. Fluorescent lights are often bluish-white and hum faintly, are used in schools, town halls, offices, and antique shops, like the ones mentioned in Grail, are directional, meaning they cast long, clean shadows and are often used to highlight items below them. Now, what if this isn't just about the light itself, but what it reveals? Moons mark cycles, just like a clock, which is another major motif. Remember the 4:03 and 4:018 times? Moon's equal time equals a clock hand. Equal turning the map becomes aligning something at a moment in time. Gracie's shop is a recurring motif throughout the book, a place where objects are more than antiques. They're portals to memory. Lift and turn, sweetie. Is it a physical instruction? Lift and turn a page, an illustration, the cover? Some hunters suggest overlaying the map on the clock scenes in the Netflix series. Think about that quote from the Treasure Trail chapter. As if time might have rearranged the trees, as if the coordinates might have shifted. Aha! The Grail is showing us that orientation matters. Cardinal directions are off, a clue hidden in a simple twist of the compass. Supporting clue? Song lyric, my compass spins no longer true. Remember the line, pricing error, perhaps a decimal point that had jumped 2 places to the left. Now some are interpreting this as a mathematical clue, perhaps nudging us to shift numbers. Take 1.23 and move the decimal, or consider 1, 2, 3 as alphanumeric values, A equals 1, B equals 2. But wait, what really caught my attention was the entombed insect in amber, frozen in time, like the glass cube pocket watch seen on the lawyer's desk in the Netflix series, like the Rocky Mountain beetles Justin writes about. These aren't just narrative moments. They're encapsulated clues, fragments suspended in story resin, waiting to be cracked open. Let's talk cross-chapter resonance. We've got a VW Beetle, lawyer's office. The Beatles lyrics, all you need is love. Ticket to Ride, a railroad clue. Frozen clock in a cube is frozen time. A Christmas mug plus glass of water is the Fitzwater chapter echo. And don't forget, Justin bought a map at Gracie's when he was a kid. Not a map of Montana, but of Victorio Peak, the legendary treasure site in New Mexico. This book doesn't move in a straight line. It moves in loops, echoes, reflections. Gracie doesn't just sell antiques. She sells memory, and memory is the map. Caffeinated clues where the only thing stronger than the coffee is our obsession with raccoons and iron gates. Today we're cracking open the royal mess that is Gracie's Grail, a chapter so stuffed with symbolism and humor, it reads like a Shakespeare play produced by a squirrel on Red Bull, a castle eloped with a yard sale. I mean, come on, that is a line for the ages. That's a wedding reference, a castle, an elopement. Elopement implies a bride. So what are we dealing with here? A runaway bride? A royal scandal? Is this Gracie's version of The Crown meets Pawn Stars? Jokes aside, a castle is structure of importance. Maybe we're being asked to marry the clues, to unite memory and location. Could this be pointing us to a hidden location tied to marriage, royalty, or playing poker with kings and queens? Is the treasure the bride? Is the Grail the ring? Is Tucker the best man? The iron gate seemed to politely suggest this place had boundaries. Juicy. This is so much more than poetic prose. It's practically a neon sign telling us to look for an actual iron gate. But not just any gate, a gate that feels passive-aggressive. Like, you could come in, but you really shouldn't. It might be at the entrance to a preserve, a trailhead, or even a cemetery. You know Justin loves his metaphors. Possibly a gate with a keep out sign that you have to skirt the boundaries of. Also, boundaries are limits, borders, edges. Is this the boundary of public land? Forest Service land? The edge of the map? Say it with me, beyond, the map's edge. Arranged by a caffeinated raccoon. We now have a caffeinated raccoon interior decorating Gracie's shop like he's got a part-time gig on HGTV. I'm obsessed. And remember, Justin told us how he arranges things in his fridge. Alphabetically, then by expiration date, then by personal preference. Now apply that same logic to a room, or a trail, or a bookshelf, maybe even to the book itself. Are we supposed to rearrange something? Alphabetically, chronologically, emotionally? Also, raccoons wear masks. Caffeine creates heightened awareness. Tea and coffee have caffeine and are drank from mugs, the double mugs in golden greed. These caffeine clues will be the death of me. Together we watch closely. Things are not as they seem. It's like Ocean's 11 but with fewer tuxedos and more trash pandas. A turret-like structure at the corner crowned Gracie as queen of her own quirky kingdom. Okay, now we've got royalty, turrets, crowns, and an enthroned antique dealer. Let's break it down. A turret is a castle structure, often on the corner. Corner might be literal or symbolic, like a corner of a map or a corner shelf in Gracie's shop. Corner like the logo on the book where the X is. A corner is 90 degrees. If Gracie is queen, what does that make Justin? The knight? The steward? The jester? Also, don't miss the word crowned. Could we be looking for a crown-shaped rock formation? A king's ridge? Something that elevates? Let's see what we can find. Yes, Montana is often referred to as the crown jewel of the Rockies. This nickname is mainly attributed to the stunning beauty and ecological significance of Glacier National Park, located within the state's Rocky Mountain region. Devil's Tower is known for its dramatic vertical columns and towering pillar-like appearance, which some observers find evocative of a crown or majestic headdress. In Montana, there's a rock formation that looks like a crown called Crown Butte. Crown Butte is one of 4 larger buttes located in the area west of Great Falls. Crown Butte, Square Butte, Shaw Butte, and Cascade Butte are all laccoliths formed during a period of volcanic activity millions of years ago, as dinosaurs wandered the area. The actual volcano was located between Craig and Cascade. You go through what's left of it every time you drive I-15 between Great Falls and Helena. When the volcano was active, roughly 70 to 80 million years ago, Some of the magma beneath it worked its way laterally through vertical fractures in surrounding rock layers. In places, the magma's upward movement was halted by a durable layer of sandstone that domed upward as the magma pooled below. Eventually, the magma hardened, becoming rock. Then in the millions of years that followed, erosion removed hundreds of feet of overlying sedimentary rock, exposing remnants of the more resistant igneous formations. The buttes. Square Butte, which can easily be seen from the highway between Great Falls and Cascade, is the most prominent of the four laccoliths, but it is privately owned. Thankfully, the Nature Conservancy purchased Crown Butte in 1982. So brew another cup, get caffeinated, and go arrange your own clues like a jittery raccoon at an estate sale. Gracie's waiting, and she's still queen. But wait, it gets better. The mountains of mismatched china towered by the register like a ceramic tower of Pisa. Okay, so now we've got mountains, a leaning tower, and porcelain. Do I smell a Devil's Tower reference here? Or is Justin just reminding us that antique shops have better terrain than most national parks? And speaking of geography, then there was what I called the forest of forgotten things. I mean, come on. That's either a Fen nod or we're talking about a trail through memory itself. Either way, we're not walking out of this chapter empty-handed. Let's talk measurement, because this next line hits hard. In equal measure, protractors, baby, maps, geometry. Sacred geometry if you're into that. This is your reminder to measure distances. Track those intervals. Get precise. And let's make one thing clear. If your solve isn't making you feel like a caffeinated raccoon in a china shop, you're probably doing it wrong. Amber time. Is that Jurassic Park calling? Do we need to start looking for mosquitoes encased in amber? Because if a raptor jumps out during my next field solve, I just hope it's carrying a clue and a latte. Nestled between two beetles. Okay, now this is the big one. Is this a bug reference? A beetle's clue? A VW slug bug? A Rocky Mountain pine beetle? Or just a musical hint hiding in plain sight? Whatever it is, there's something frozen in time here. Possibly in amber, possibly in ice, probably wearing a wedding ring. Dragoon Mountains, horses in summer heat. Golden brown at the edges. Folks, the Grail is burning, and the chapter is pointing. But where? Between the mountain metaphors, the ceramic towers, and caffeinated chaos, Gracie's Grail seems to be less about antiques and more about alignment. Emotion, memory, rotation, and direction. So here's your mission for today. What are you measuring? What beetles are you tracking? And what castle did you elope from? Map in hand and raccoons at your heels? This chapter doesn't just give you the trail, it hands you the compass. All right, fellow time travelers and caffeinated clue chasers, let's wind this one down, or maybe spin it backwards through time, because that's where Gracie Grail leaves us. Might spin backwards through time. Seriously, is this Back to the Future or a thrift store vortex? Do we need a DeLorean or just a really well-labeled memory box? And then Justin hits us with this gem, an impressive samba skidded to a funeral march. Let's break that down. Samba, full of life, rhythm, celebration. Funeral march, slow, heavy, final. That's not just a tone shift. That's a directional clue. This is movement, time, tempo. Maybe it's telling us, the thing you seek dances at first, but leads to something deeper. And then the dagger, the belief that we can somehow catch time in a net of collected things. This one is the soul of the chapter. This entire book is about that. Memory as artifact, emotion as geography, clues as time capsules. Maybe the Grail isn't just a thing. Maybe it's a moment. Maybe we're not just solving for a box. We're chasing the shimmer of a memory in the sunlight, a time caught in amber. So here's where I'll leave you. If time is your clue, track it. If the beat changes, follow the rhythm. If the object feels charged with memory, hold it longer. The Grail doesn't just sit still. It lives inside the turn. Lift, rotate, rethink, repeat. This was Gracie's Grail, and maybe, just maybe, she handed you more than a clue. Maybe she handed you the first step toward catching time in your own net. Until next time, keep caffeinated, stay curious, and spin boldly, even if it's backwards. And if your compass no longer spins true, you might just be holding it upside down.